Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jason. Today we've got a Talon upper door update. So for those of you that watched the last video about the review after the ride, New Year's ride, you know that we had a spike upper door fail. First ride, first night, the zipper failed on the bottom of the door, and it failed right here where the door bends. Alright, it failed right here. And we got back and I called Spike, and super great customer service, and talked to Mr. Weber, a couple emails, a couple phone calls. It took me 11 business days plus two weekends to resolve this issue. But to be fair, 7 of those days were FedEx ground service. So it took 7 days for them to ship this skin to me. From the time they picked it up to the time it got to the shop, 7 working business days. Now what they sent me is the whole skin. Alright. Goes on here. New window, all new zippers. They also send you 8 new rivets, black rivets. So these rivets right here are going to have to be removed. And there's 8 of them around this front piece of skin. Now I looked and I didn't see anything where anybody had replaced one of these skins, so I'm gonna do that so y'all can see it. The upper, I like it. I really hope this is the last issue we have with it, because I really like these doors. I like the way they function. I like the way, really like the way they seal up. Love the door handle. Like even the mirror location. And I didn't cover that, but a lot of people asked us, you know, where'd you get them mirrors? How do you mount them mirrors? Well, Spike actually has in the door a tab welded in their frame, so you can mount any mirror you want. If it's got a horizontal mounting script, you can put any mirror you want on here. Put mirrors off a Trans Am on here if you want them. I really like the door. I like everything about it. Like I said, I'm hoping it's just a fluke with the zipper. Julie really didn't mind. We were there to ride. We was there to get twisted up and nasty, and we did all that. She got soaking wet for 2 days, but she really didn't mind it because that's what we was there for. But in the grand scheme of things, we didn't buy these doors for her to ride around soaking wet. I looked on YouTube and everywhere else, and I can't find where anybody's replaced a skin. Maybe I'm missing it, but so I don't really know what I need now. There ain't no instructions, but 8 rivets and a skin tells me I probably need to remove and replace 8 rivets and a skin. So I grabbed 3 different size drill bits. I grabbed a 5/16, 13/64, and a 1/4 inch. Don't know which one it is, but surely one of them will drill it out. Also got a pop punch and just a regular punch and a little brass hammer that I use for everything around the shop. It lays out. I use it for everything. Got a little slow speed drill, battery drill, and I don't use a lot of rivets in the shop. Don't mess with a lot of rivets, but I think you can pick this up for like 25 bucks at Northern Tool. It's got all different sizes on it, and like I said, I don't use a lot of rivets, but I found over the years it's nice to have this thing laying around in a drawer somewhere, so if you do need a rivet gun, it's not got a collector on it, it's not air, it's not nothing fancy, it's just a little rivet gun. The head does swivel, but anyway, I don't use rivets enough to invest in anything other than this little thing. I also don't have a a push pin retractor tool for the Honda push pins, but I got a couple junky screwdrivers that I use for stirring paint and throwing a dog and everything else, so I got them. And that's all I've got. I'm gonna start by taking the mirror off. As we go forward, I'll speed this up so y'all ain't gotta watch all this, but I'm gonna change the skin out, and since there wasn't nothing on here about changing the skin out, thought maybe it'd help somebody somewhere sometime, because inevitably more and more people are running these spike upper doors. Somebody's gonna wanna know how to do it. So I'll speed it up and then I'll stop it if I need to, but for the most part we're just gonna work through it. Alright. Oh, spike reflex mirror is an 8mm 3/8 drive. If you got a Pontiac, you got a Trans Am or a Grand Prix mirror on it, I don't know what size that would be. I'm gonna show you too. These mirrors, you don't have to run them. They don't knock this hole out for you right here. That's got to be cut out. So if you don't want your mirrors here, if you want to run some other kind of mirror, maybe you want some British MG fender mirrors coming off here, and you don't want this hole, that hole don't come in it. You have to cut that in it when you put the door on. So it gives you an option with or without. So I'm gonna start this process with a 5/16 bit and see how that works. All right. It actually drilled inside of the rivet and left the casing on the outside. So I think it's 1364. I think that's gonna be the You know what? That worked. It was still a little tight. I'm gonna try one more. I thought that was gonna be the biscuit and the gravy right there, but it was still a little tight and ended up breaking part of that casing off. So I'm gonna try it again. I mean, I got 8 of them. So you can see it came right off. That's the head of that rivet. It leaves the shaft in there. So see, it's starting to work off right there. All right. Now I really want to do this without having to take the bolts out of the top and all that, and I'm hoping I can slide that skin back, because if you've got one of these uppers, you know at this door jamb right here, it lays over the skin up under the hood right here. That's for your water and everything else, but I'm hoping once I take all the Velcro loose, take the 2 push pins out, it'll let me push it back out from under that, and I don't have to disassemble the hood, the door jamb, and everything I got going right there just to change the skin out. You know, that's something else too. On these Honda push pins, Spike don't drill them for you. That's once you install the door and you get all the adjustments made, you get pulled tight and you get everything lined up where you want it. That's really going to be the last thing you do is cut them holes through the skin, because it lines up with the 2 body holes in the buggy from the manufacturer, from Honda. So take your time. If you're installing these doors, that should be the last thing you do, is the cuts to put them push pins in, because if you don't line them up right, it's going to be off. It's going to look all wonky. So there we go. Now I will tell you this. I was able to persuade this skin off, but you ain't gonna get the one back on. This right here, it goes up under this jamb right here, and that jamb is sandwiched between this suicide wing support for the door, the top. All of it comes together. There's a rocking radio bracket right there. There's just a lot going on right here in this one area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out this one jamb for the door jamb. I'm going to take this one off. That way I've got a little more play right here, and try to work that new skin on. It's off. We're halfway there. Okay, let's see. Now, I'll mess with this later, but I do want to go. I want to look at that zipper and see if it's maybe it's a defect. Maybe the zipper broke. Maybe one of the teeth flattened out. Something. But you know, these doors are really good quality. I mean, they're not junky. They're not flimsy. They're thick. Everything about them is really good quality, and I don't understand why it failed. So I'm gonna look into it a little more, and I'm gonna keep the skin. I offered to send it back to them. They didn't want it, but I'm gonna take it to an upholstery shop, and I'm gonna play around with having this zipper replaced and seeing what we can't do about getting a zipper that goes all the way around, so that I can remove this window completely during the summer, or you know, for whatever, for storage, for whatever. One of the things I did want to show you right out the gate, one ride for 2 days. See this mark right here? Now, this is just, I don't know, 20mm clear plastic. But those 2 marks are from the strap, having the window rolled up and that strap rubbing going down the trail. So we're actually going to use some kind of microfiber sleeves over the straps or something. But 2 days worth of riding. 104 miles is what we did those 2 days. And we've already got irreversible marks on the plastic, so we're going to try to get ahead of that on this new one. But all right. gonna switch over to a quarter. Try to clean these rivets up on this frame. There it went. Gave it up. Alright guys, so as you can see, it ain't bad. Clean it up. Don't beat yourself up. Your drill bit runs on you, scratch it, it's getting a new skin over it, so it's alright. Now, I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but that's 8 aluminum mushrooms rolling around inside that joker. Now there is a little cap right here. Ain't got nothing tells me how to get it off. So. So there's this little black plug that goes right in the end of this tube, and I'm sure it's protection for the fabric to keep the tube from cutting into the fabric would be my guess. And what I thought was maybe a drilled bung or something. It's got a hole in the end of it. It's not threaded. Could have run a screw up in there and used that to pull. I don't know. Never had no dealings with it. What I did do was took a pair of channel locks and counterclockwise, lefty loosey, and it backed out. The bar's crimped top and bottom, so it's been crimped to hold this in, and almost like rifling, you can see that the crimps actually let it thread out. So yeah, there's probably a better way. It's not destroyed, but it's by no means pretty anymore. So but you want a pretty plug or you want that rattle going down the road and on the trail and all that, I'll take the ugly plug. So that being aluminum, you ain't gonna retrieve that with a magnet. So we're gonna use a little ingenuity on this. Bear with me. Redneck ingenuity for the win, y'all. Alright. No BBs. So, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, actually. So, you see me pull duct tape off, it wasn't getting enough through it. So as I took the second one and the third one off, actually, boom, 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 I could hear them going into the tube. So, alright. Now, I am going to send the guy at Spike Power Sports an email thanking him for his time and getting me all this. One other thing I'm also going to bring up to Spike is that for the people that do the door skin replacement, and this right here, I would be one of these, because you got to booger this one up so bad to get it out. So, and like I said, it is what it is. This is fine. It's going to work just great. It's just boogered up. Going to have brand new door skin, brand new rivets, and you know, whatever. Now again, you don't have to do that. If you don't mind to rattle around in your door frame, I don't guess it matters. But I know my best friend and my co-pilot there that rides with me, she ain't gonna put up with that. Now, see what we got here. Alright, so by removing that little bolt out of the top door jamb, it gives me about 3 inches of slack in that door jamb where it was really tight. Now, so if you've watched the videos, you know we got the rocking radio. So the P-clamp around the roll bar is right here, right at the end of the door jamb. So obviously Spike rocking radio They didn't collaborate what went where, but it works. You just got to work with it. Problem is with that P clamp around the roll bar, where it hits, the door jamb hits about halfway on that P clamp, and then the skin goes over top of that, and then the roof caps everything. So it's just a lot going on right there in that spot. So by taking that loose, I feel like it's going to give me a little more room, a little more easement of getting this skin slid into place without everything getting all boogered up. So I mean, Christmas is behind us, but I get to open presents. I will tell you, Spike sent this in a box. I mean, it's a big box. This thing wasn't rolled up, squashed flat. It was a big square box. And it's really light, but I'm sure they could ship 2 skins in that same box. It was not folded or rolled up, but it was just kind of bowed a little bit. So now you can see this new skin has got the holes for the rivets. You can also see there is no hole for the mirror. I gotta do that. Alright, there is no hole for the push pins on the back side, but all your rivets, they're all there. So I don't have to try to figure out where that's at. It's really nice. I like that. Don't mind doing it on the mirror. I've already done it. Don't mind on the body pins. Already done them. So alright, got it removed, got everything cleaned up. It's not bad. I'm gonna start working this in. On the back, everything's Velcro, so you know. I knew you was gonna be a bigger bear. All right. So yeah, that was the check. Loosen that door jamb up. I mean, sounded like a lot was going on, but it just. So, I know from doing all this stuff, there's 2 ways you can do it. We can blow and go, and you can end up with a blow and go product. You take your time and work through it and make sure everything's right before you nail it down, and you can honestly say you've done your best with it. Things seem to work out a little better like that, so y'all bear with me, but that's what we're gonna do. Oh boy, that'd give me a fit, wouldn't it? All right, there we go. Very fine. I'm gonna take a couple of these, kind of like when you're sewing or something. Got a pin to hold it in place. I'm gonna take a couple of these and test fit them. buddy. Alright, so I have no problem with fitment. Everything looks like it just lines up perfectly. Now these little rivets, they send you, this is them. And my little cheap get me through the rough times rivet gun. So these heads right here are your different rivet sizes. Whether you're using a pin rivet, you know, right on up. I've never used these because if I'm doing something in the shop, it's gonna be a big one. Alright, let's look at it. Okay. See, y'all watch me fight this. Now I want to point out. When you do this. I don't know if you can see it or not. I want to show you though. Bear with me. You see this little. See how that zipper's right here? Ours wasn't like that. It's pulled tight. The point being, when you reskin this thing, or if you're doing the installation for the first time, make sure your windows are zipped so you've got the right tension. Make sure your bracket, hold on guys. Alright, so you make sure this bracket up here is adjusted to where your window's tight. Alright, you didn't see me mess with that because they're already installed. I didn't have to mess with it. Fits good, window's tight, but right here you can see this is the point where you put your push pins in, your body pins. Now, there's two holes under here for the Honda Talon. The body panel lines up. There's already a hole there. When you go to fit this, you want to make sure you've got this pulled back, down, and tight. So this is a nice, clean transition. You don't see the window's tight now. If you leave slack in here, it lets that zipper twist and almost like an S. So let me try this again. So if you ain't paying attention and you go ahead and hit your body bolts, now this zipper's got this little S curve right here. It's got to work through. Before you do your body bolts, pull it tight, and you'll see that this is nice, smooth, straight transition, and it's tight. Your window's tight, everything's tight again, and that improves the travel of that zipper. There's no binding, there's no nothing. Now, I did this on the first zipper. I had everything tight. And right here, you can see when the door starts to bend, there's a lot of stress on that zipper. I really don't know what else you're going to do there though, when the door's closed. Now, ultimately at the end of the day, we're never going to be operating the zipper with the door open. So for me, the function comes in making sure that zipper, when she's inside and she opens that window, that zipper's traveling as smoothly as possible. That it don't have to go through that little twisted up, balled up mess. Took the time to make sure this was right and tight the last time, and it still failed. Again, hoping it's just a zipper issue. So we're going to work through getting this right, getting it tight, making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. like everything else in this world, there's 15 ways to do this. There's gonna be somebody on here tell me I didn't do it right. That's alright. So these holes, this fabric is like a rubber. It's like a rubber. It's like a injection mold kind of deal. Very, very solid. It's pliable. I mean, it's, you push it. It's like a rubber. You can dent it with your fingernail and all that. I don't know if drilling it, it doesn't look like a material that a thread would run or something. I also know I'm not going to take a chance in it. So I use Yoke's knife out of Mil Paquito. Once I get it marked, I'm going to cut an X pattern just like that. Then I'll trim out the hole and then run my push pin in. You could probably use a drill bit, maybe a unibit, step bit, but last ones I installed, I used my pocket knife. It worked out perfect. Okay. Alright, so there's a few more Velcro adjustments to make. Back here, this bung where it goes around it. I ain't gonna put y'all through all that. I'll get that here in a little bit by myself. Now, I do want to show you on this mirror. This is a spike reflex mirror. Like the mirror. One problem I do have with the mirror is this thing, the whole time I was riding, it doggy-eared on us. So you hit a few bumps, be rock crawling, going down the road. So I think this thing's got a screw right here. Now it's torqued. I even marked it after I torqued it to verify that I had torqued it to spec. I'm going to try to over torque it just a touch and see if that don't straighten it up. And maybe even possibility of taking it apart, putting some RTV sealant in there, locking it down, adjusting it where it goes and letting it set up so it can't at least dog ear on me no more. But the process of putting this back on is exactly the same with putting the body pins in. Alright, pull at you. Trusty pocket knife. If you're like me, you've had one of them since you was younger. Now, instead of mashing on this thing, finding your hole, just come to the inside, and this thing's got the bracket I showed you before. Hold your material tight. Alright. Just put your little pinhole right in the center, right there. So the knife come through right there. Now there ain't no gas to it. Alright, you ain't got to cut. Just put it in there, wiggle it around, make your little slot. Now, what I done, once my bolt was through, come back with that same knife, I just trimmed some of that extra material off. You got plenty of threads to start into that mirror. So even if you don't trim it off, it's still gonna work. Again, if and I can find it, that's 8mm. There you go. She's back together. Of course, I got a few things tight and a few things to adjust and all that. I ain't gonna put y'all through all that. But if you ever have to reskin one of these, I guess about 2 hours in now, all total. A lot of that's taking time to cater to the camera and jump back and forth and this, that, and the other. So it wasn't bad. Just take your time. And you know, a lot of proper tools that you won't spend the money, get you a little nicer rivet gun, make it a little easier and quicker too. But it's not a bad process. Very easy install. Just a few little hand tools, and anybody can do it, honestly. All right, everybody. I'm Jason. Thank y'all for the people that's following us, keeping up with us. Appreciate y'all. If you just stumbled upon this, like, subscribe. We're taking this thing, we're riding, I think in May, our next ride, we got to take a few months off due to work engagements, but in May we're going to Arkansas. I think it's Mill Creek, Arkansas. And then we've got the ride, obviously, in late July, where we're going to Colorado. July 4th still up in the air, but we're doing Windrock and we're doing Hatfield McCoy. We're going to do Crossbar Ranch in Oklahoma this year. And like, subscribe, hang out with us. We're not making a living at this. We're just trying to help people out, be a part of it all. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, enjoy the ride.